holidays, we're taking a leap of faith together, speaking with some influential and innovative religious leaders and pioneers about God, faith, heaven, and hell. This morning, we are joined by Bishop Carlton Pearson, a man who brought innumerable people together with his charismatic message. But then a voice one night from the man upstairs led him down a controversial path that cost him practically everything.
There is life, there is spontaneity, there is joy.
Bishop Carlton Pearson is an energetic,
dancing around, trying to fit, trying to find your place.
Passionate,
I was so overcome with love.
And captivating spiritual leader.
And leave you up there for a while.
Drawing his congregation in with flowing sermons and perfect pitch.
On me.
You could say Pearson was born to be a preacher.
As a child, our whole life revolved around the church. I started preaching when I was 14. I was licensed at 15, ordained at 18.
He attended Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Oral Roberts himself took Pearson under his wing.
Out of all the probably 25,000 students that had gone through there by the time he retired, no one had the kind of access to him as I did. He really, literally treated me like his son.
You don't know like I.
Fresh out of school, Bishop Pearson's popularity and message grew beyond anyone's expectations, including his own.
I was the first African-American preacher on the South Side to start a church that was integrated and maintained it to where it became what they would call a mega church in this town, up to about 4,000 or 5,000.
Bishop Pearson preached to millions all over the country. In 1995, he spoke alongside Reverend Billy Graham at the Oklahoma City Bombing Memorial.
The best for Oklahoma and America is still to come.
And was a spiritual advisor to President George H.W. Bush. But everything changed when Pearson had what he called a revelation from God.
I believe people go through hell, not ultimately to hell.
Stop telling people they're going to hell. I said, I don't care if they're sitting there with a needle in their arm, drunk, smoked a joint, HIV positive. Tell them their sins are forgiven. There's no issue between them and God that hasn't been resolved in Jesus. That's all I said.
If he didn't condemn, why do we?
His new message did not go over well with his congregation or with high-ranking church officials. Before he knew it, he had lost everything and was branded a heretic.
Preachers wrote letters denouncing it. I went from hero to zero and lost it all.
Is there anybody you've loved in your own life who backslid and is in hell right now?
My daddy's in hell. What about it?
And did you love him?
Of course I did. He was my daddy. But he beat my mama. He beat me. He was a fornicator.
And now God's punishing him. He's suffering in hell. He's tortured and tormented for all eternity. So let me ask you something. Would you get him out of hell if you could?
That was from the new Netflix film Come Sunday about Bishop Pearson Carlton. Back in the 90s, the bishop was a successful Pentecostal minister of a megachurch in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He held popular revivals across the country, counseled presidents, and on and on. But he lost it all when he says he received a direct message from God that went against the teachings of the Pentecostal church. Bishop, great to have you here.
Thank you, Megan.
And that message was that there is no hell, that people who aren't, quote, saved are not going to hell, that, in fact, we have a loving and forgiving God.
First, I thought I believed in hell. I just didn't believe anybody would be in it because of the finished work of the cross. Then I started thinking about the absurdity and the vulgarity of eternal torture. If it was purgative or corrective or remedial, I could understand some kind of hell. But when it's punishment, and little children, if you're 12 and over, till you're 90 years old, would all go and be tormented. It just didn't, I couldn't reconcile that with the moral character of a God of love.
So you come out and you say that to your congregation, 6,000 people, and it did not go over well. And it did not go over well with the church leaders beside yourself. Mm-hmm. And within a year, you had lost your church.
Yeah, everything. The property, my intellectual rights, the name. I had to sign off from the founder of the organization that I had founded, and it was just pretty torturous.
And lost your home?
Lost my home.
You lost your fortune?
My inheritance. I didn't have any inheritance, but what I had saved, all my savings, 401k.
Because that goes directly against Pentecostal teachings.
Fundamentalist and Pentecostal teaching, evangelical teachings, it goes against the Bible can be very controversial because one day it says you love God and the mercy of God endures forever. How can mercy endure forever and hell endure forever? One would cancel out the other.
And now you've gotten to a place that is more, shall I say, progressive. It's inclusive, it's loving. In the movie, it walks us through how you had this very close friend who was gay, and initially you were advising him, it's okay to be gay, you just can't do gay.
Yeah.
And now you've evolved on all of that, yes?
Yes.
And what's your belief now?
That everybody, and just like the makeup artist just said here, not trying to correct anybody, just enhance everybody, who you already are. Bring out the best in you, celebrate, own, honor, respect, love yourself, and be yourself. We spend our lives, most of us, impersonating who we think people want us to be. And we become a world of imposters and impersonators. But when I stop putting on that air, trying to please the people, and I love people, I had to face the guy that I had never met.
Mm-hmm. And now you don't have all this money and you don't have the big 6,000 person church, but you're preaching what you believe is God's kind and loving and forgiving message. And was it worth it? I mean, if you could go back now and do it over again, would you?
Well, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, and nobody would be interested. The movie magnifies and amplifies the message I thought the church wanted to mute. It's like Jason Segel, one of the actors, said to me, Bishop, so what are you feeling, vindication or revenge? I said, no revenge. I do feel vindication, but more importantly, I feel indication, an indication that maybe the universe, God, has a more important posture for this message, that it really should reach masses. Netflix has 117 million homes.
That's more than 6,000.
Oh, my God.
We have a few million watching this show, too.
And I heard millions are getting this today.
You know what? Thank you so much for your courage and your love. I highly recommend the movie, which is riveting and sad when you see the price he paid for his loving and kind beliefs and the non-acceptance within the community. But thank you for sharing it here.
Pleasure, Megyn. I'm so proud of you, too.
Thank you, love.
You're amazing.
Thank you. All right, don't forget, come Sunday, it begins streaming on Netflix on April 13th.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.